Ignatius, his real name was Inigo Lopez. He was born in 1491 in a small village called Loyola. Inigo was the youngest of 13 children. His mother died when he was just 7. As a child, he was very laborious, courageous, and ambitious. His dream was to become a great leader and gain glory, name, and fame. So, as he grew up, he became a gallant soldier in the Spanish army. Ignatius had won many battles for the Spanish army. When he was 30 years old, the war broke out between France and Spain. Though Spaniards were very less in numbers, but Ignatius never gave up. He fought very bravely. Suddenly, a cannonball struck Ignatius and shattered his leg badly. The French won and the war ended. Soon, French soldiers came to check if anyone was alive so that they could captivate and enslave them. There, they saw Ignatius still alive, groaning in pain. Admiring his courage and bravery, the French soldiers carried him for the treatment. In the castle of Loyola, the treatment of Inigo's wounded leg began. During the long weeks of treatment and healing, he was extremely irritated and frustrated. He would often get angry. He asked for some romantic novels to spend time, but there was none at the castle of Loyola. However, the nurse gave him the books on the life of Christ and life of saints. Desperately, Ignatius began to read them. The more he read, the more he began to think about saints and Jesus. At the same time, he also dreamt about himself as a soldier and his lady love. His mind was constantly involved in dreams and desires. He constantly dreamt about the lady love. noticed that after reading and thinking about saints and Christ, he was at peace and satisfied. And the desire to become saint and lead a life like saints overwhelmed him, and he chose to follow Jesus. Once Ignatius was healed, he left the castle. He had decided to go to Jerusalem, to the place where our Lord lived. And he began his journey to Barcelona. On the way, he reached the Benedictine shrine of Our Lady of Montserrat. And before Our Lady, he offered his sword, and the whole night he prayed. Soon after that, when he came out, he gave away his fine clothes to the poor man and dressed himself in rough clothes. By now, Ignatius was 33 years old and determined to become a priest. However, he was ignorant of Latin, which was necessary for the university study for those days. So, he decided to study Latin with young boys in the school at Barcelona. After 2 years, he moved to the University of Alcalá at Paris for studying Latin grammar, literature, philosophy, and theology. There, he shared the room with Francis Xavier and Peter Faber. He talked to them about Jesus and his teaching. Francis Xavier was a hard nut to crack. Once Ignatius confronted him and said,
"What does it profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses his soul?"
Francis Xavier was moved by his word and started following Ignatius. St. Ignatius influenced many other youth, and their number grew. But he always had a doubt about forming the order. That is why, on his way to Las Torta, Ignatius in his prayer saw Trinity appear to him. The Father said to his Son,
"It is my will that you take this man as your companion."
Jesus, bearing his cross, said to Ignatius,
"It is my will that you serve us."
Eventually, they formed a community and all decided to take the vows of chastity and poverty. With the Pope's approval, they would vow obedience. Since they have called themselves the companion of Jesus, their order was known as the Society of Jesus. Together they marched across the world, proclaiming the good news of God, making more disciples, and following the path set by St. Ignatius for the greater glory of God.
Atma Yorem Dei Gloriam, Atma Yorem Dei Gloriam, Atma Yorem Dei Atmayorem Dei, Atmayorem Dei, Gloria, Atmayorem Dei, Atmayorem Dei, Atmayorem Dei, Gloria.